strike rate or spread from the contest. Look, and to be a bit fair, they did get that right in the last 5 minutes of that quarter, but it's the likes of Howlett, Watson, Lovett, Murray, Monfils and Heppel in the middle of the ground. That's where they need to create their run and spread from.
A purposeful start here for the Bombers to centre half forward. Zaharakis runs onto it. Handball to Hurley. Lower wraps him up on the tackle. He goes back to Monfils. Here they go. Collier's broken through. A shot from 25 out to give the Bombers just a teeny-beeny bit of hope.
Well, it's a good start to the Bombers. First time they've kicked the first goal of any of the quarters. We just go back to this clearance. It ends up being directed straight to Nick Lower. And these are the sorts of things that Nick just has to get out of his game. Now, that is a soda, really. He needs to be able to take that and reset. He's done so much good work in his time with the Dockers, but it's just those one or two little mistakes that holds him back to going to the next level as a player.
And a great follow-up. A great follow-up from Collier in that instance there. He was the one who charged in off the square.
Yep.
Got the mark, got the ball going, followed up and was able to kick the goal.
Saw him meeting his mum and dad at the hotel foyer today. Saw a lot at the foyer today.
You did?
There's a rebounds by the umpires. I saw lots of, when you go to foyers in hotels, you see lots of things, Jared. Perhaps that you're not supposed to see.
Well, you've uncovered something that will no doubt be followed up. There's a suggestion that maybe there's another meeting with a young kid called O'Meara, BT, in the same foyer later on this afternoon.
Would he be a fast young kid?
I'd say he's a fast young kid that could well find himself in this side if they could get hold of him, the Bombers.
Yeah. Well, they are all here this weekend. Western Australia played Tasmania in the under-18 championship game today. The Victorian country and Metro playing over the weekend in Victoria as well. Beautiful pick-up by Hurley. Gloved it on the half volley absolutely magnificently. And now the Bombers can go forward again. Paddy's got a good front body position here. He'll win himself a free, and he's got a chance to kick his fourth goal.
So have the Dockers put the cue in the rack? That's the question that Mark Harvey will start to be wondering if this one goes through and all of a sudden.
Well, Jared, 35 points if this one goes through very early in the last quarter.
And last week, boys, Hawthorn polled on 7 goals to 1 in the last quarter to get up and win by 22 points. So have they put in the rack? We'll find out.
Here's Paddy to make it 4. 5 of the last 6 goals for the Bombers. He was hopeful. It's there. The Bombers have got it. They're back to 35.
Well, Paddy Ryder's been able to turn around his own fortunes now with 4 goals for the game. And look, it was great work. It was Hurley's lead up again. He was able to take the ball clean, as you called, BT, get the ball in one-on-one to an Essendon teammate who's able then to compete and draw the free kick. And you could just sense with the crowd were thinking, ooh, I hope it doesn't occur like last week.
The crowd was starting to think Sunday session celebration time here. All of a sudden, they've been forced to resume their seats because now the Bombers have kicked 3 goals in a row, the only 2 goals of the last quarter, and they're back within 35.
Don't think he's kicked a goal on McFarlane, though. McFarlane at the moment is minding Hurley a little bit further out from goal. And Anthony Grover is on Ryder. I reckon that swappo could be made at some stage.
Well, this is the difference in the middle. Watson goes wide, looking for Brown. A win, though, for Fife. High ball, 3-on-1, the Bombers. And a free kick on the half-back line. Would have gone to Brown, but they say continuation advantage. There is Brown giving off the handball, looking for the give and go. Hibbert got it back and snuck it through. They're away, out of the loop here. Look at the run now. Gee, trying to burst through there, Hibbert. Jetta backs him up, still got boot to ball. Here comes Lovett. Murray, and he can kick the ball a long way.
Cues in the rack at the moment, temporarily. They can drag it back out, but they're not running at all, the Dockers, and the Bombers have finally started to get their boots going.
To get it back in the high 20s. With a whole heap of time left. He gives it to the run of Hurley. Hurley hammers a long straight ball. The Bombers are fighting back to a 29-point margin.
You're speechless, Jono.
Well, I was just having a good look at the stats then, Jared, and looking at contested possession where Essendon's finally been able to get on top overall in this game, and that was highlighted by James Hird at quarter time as a big area of the game where they were getting smashed.
But it was highlighted at quarter time, nothing happened. It was highlighted at half time, nothing happened.
Yeah,
What's
but
happened is
gradually they've been able to peg it back, and now they're starting to take some advantage from it.
gradually, I think the cue's gone in the rack.
Mark Harvey starting to get a little edgy. They have kicked 6 of the last 7 goals here, the Bombers. You can see the sun is going down, the shade has set in, and the Bombers have come alive, as you suggested, Gerard.
Feeling a lot better about themselves physically.
Hill's gone back as the spare.
That's hands in the back.
And that's...
Here's another goal coming, BT.
Has he paid it? Yes, he has. That'll go to Hurley, 35 metres out in front. This to get it back to 23 points.
They've sent Hill back as the spare. Maybe that's somewhere Pavlich could go to block things up a bit, because you know your direct opponent's probably going to come with you and just clog things up.
To make it 5 Bomber goals in a row. Hurley steps to the plate. Directly in front, 35 metres out. Oh boy, he misses to the left in a time of urgency and need.
Well, big let off there for the Dockers. And also for McFarlane, who's had a great game. But, I mean, those hands in the back, that is just stuff that he's got to be better than.
Here comes Hardingham over the top of McFarlane. Did well. Oh, knock of the arms. Gee, there must have been a hair in it.
No, it's pretty clear down here, BT. He did come across the top of the arm. Good decision by the umpire.
The West Australian just coming out in the groper down there.
The king.
Absolutely. McFarlane from halfback. What have the Dockers got here? Look at the punch and the desperation by the Bombers. All of a sudden, Melksham did well to bustle out Ballantyne. Jeddah with some fancy hand and footwork gave it to Howlett. Paddy Ryder turns circles around his man. Over the top, the spoil comes. Down here, Collier tried to get the handball away. He needed to get rid of it. Can the Dockers penalise?
4-on-1 here.
Look at the numbers. And Hill's taken the mark.
Oh, that came out of...
I thought that came out of Griffin's hands.
It definitely did, yeah.
Unsighted the umpires, they turned their backs to him. Ryder's wrestling a couple, and
That's a poor kick.
in the end it needed to go a little bit more corridor, Jono.
Yeah, he just kicked it to the 2-on-1. He had other options shorter.
They've choked here.
Oh, here it is. Look at this, the hustle and bustle from the Bombers. Brown applying the tackle now. This is what we haven't seen for about 4 weeks from the Bombers.
Still haven't seen any evidence, Jacko, of the Dockers running. The old skeleton from last week is just starting to poke out of the cupboard.
It certainly is, and it's an opportunity to present for Matthew Pavlich. 5 possessions in the third quarter. He's only had the 1 in this quarter. He needs to stand up here and lead football at the front.
Some real restlessness about Patterson Stadium right at the moment. The Dockers comfortably by 28 points, but it's an impressive Bombers who have started this last 7 minutes on the correct note to at least put out a challenge. Boy, oh boy, some murmurings going on here. Griffin knocked down, snap at goal. Was that Jeddah?
It was.
Jeddah gets another one. The Bombers have got 5 in a row and are back to 22.
Well, here they come, Jared.
Here they come.
Finally.
Small evidence before three-quarter time. Elected to ignore it myself, Jono. Couldn't quite see it turning into this. But if the Dockers don't start a running, they are just going to get steamrolled. We know that Essendon were well below their best. No doubt that the sun going down has helped them enormously.
Yep. Psychologically, if any.
Yep.
Now, hang on to your seats, Bomber fans and Docker fans, because we've got a ball game. 22-point margin. Kicked all 4 goals in this last quarter of the Bombers.
And BT, massive rotations for Fremantle. Chris Main's come off again. His left knee heavily strapped and he's limping, so he doesn't look like he's going to take too much part in the rest of this game.
And remember, they were without Mundy.
And they haven't gone forward.
Yep.
Have not gone forward in this term, the Dockers.
No clearances at all. Out of the middle we go again. Hill. Little back donkey sort of kick. Lovett Murray got the poker out. Ballantyne goes and gets it. Just the one hand again. Little kick it to set up the run of Hill. He's pursued by Welsh, who got a really good bounce. Lovett Murray wide. I'm not sure about that handball. Would have been better to go direct with the kick. Collier finding something, the Bombers. All of a sudden they look all at sea. And a throw. This will go to Fremantle. So just need a 2 or 3 minute period here, the Dockers, where they can possess the ball.
See, look at Fremantle now, around where the free kick's been played. They're all just walking away from the contest. There's no spread and run
look at the
coming from them.
3 of them there close to the ball.
All within 10 metres of each other.
And this is just going to go down the line, although Pavlich presents very nicely. That's 50. No, the umpire has let him off.
It's an opportunity here for Fremantle. They need to stop Leroy Jetta, boys. 20 possessions, 2 goals. They need to put someone on him, whether it's a De Boer or Crowley.
Pavlich goes looking for Fife out the back door. Myers shrugs off a couple of tackles. Will need to get rid of it. He did. Now Fife. Bit of aerial ping-pong going on in here at the moment. Here's Clancy. Got it to Johnson. Stretching fingers. Couldn't get there. Taken over the line. Hinkley in the tackle. Umpire's going to whip it back into play while 2 Bomber players are still fighting on the boundary here. Back in it goes. Clark tries to paddle it out. Lovett Murray. Duffield. All of a sudden, nothing's clean. Hill from 50. Around the corner. Melksham says, yours, Kyle Hardingham. And he hammers the ball out to Monfries.
Great kick.
It was, and able to mark it, Monfries. Nothing on down the line, so he's going to have to go back inboard. Hamlet's got space over the top if he wanted to go. Here comes Cramery. Paddy Ryder got hands on it. Gave it to Hardingham, who's always under the pump. Now Howlett's got to crash through the tackle. Gave the ball up to Iverton. A chance to penalise, but once again they can't hit the target. Jetta, Hill and Hardingham all looking at each other as to see who's going to do the work. No one actually went and got it.
Throw. Definitely a throw, that one, but good work by Pearce. And another one.
There's another one. The one-handed let go. So I just feel Fremantle starting now to sense and jump into gear here.
Definitely, and you look at the handball receives 24-4 in this quarter, Essendon's way.
There's a throw, couple in the action. And at the stoppages, this is where they've come good. Just got it away. Cramery did well. Pearce didn't have time though. And we'll have another ball up.
And boys, Chris May about to come back on. Very interesting to see that his left knee, which was heavily strapped, they've taken the strapping off. So something's bothering him. However, the strapping's probably restricted him.
There he is, waiting to come back on. Hill doing the ruck work with Griffin. Zach Clark went and got it to Fife. A bit of space and time for Fife. Kick had too much on it. Hooker.
Good body work from Hooker from behind. Worked his way to the front.
Myers. Running bounce out of defence. Pearce gives chase. McVeigh's on. He'll need to be good because Ballantyne got a hand there.
And Ballantyne's one of the few that is running at high tempo for the Dockers when the ball's in his vicinity. They've all dropped off when it's been outside, and James Hird just trying to apply a little bit of mental encouragement. His presence on the boundary line is something he doesn't often go with.
Got too much for him in the box. He said, I've got to get out of here. I need to get down and get a little closer. Here's Bradley around the corner. Hardingham and Johnson go at it. So let's set the scene. We've got just over 12 minutes remaining in the game. The Bombers are down 22, so there's lots of time. The Dockers just starting to regain their composure ever so slightly, but no evidence of that on the scoreboard in this last quarter just yet. Hill and Zach Clark doing the ruck work. Duffield had his feet removed from under him.
You'd reckon they can't win, BT, if the Dockers get the next goal. You'd reckon they've got to get the next goal, the Bombers.
The Freo chant going up. Jared Healy has just pinpointed the importance on this for both sides. Next goal for the Dockers, in trouble. Here's Pavlich, the skipper, worked it through, minor score.
Gives the possession back to the Bombers, and here they go.
This where they'd love Fletcher out there, wouldn't they? The big long one down.
He doesn't want to kick it.
The middle of the ground.
Johnson calling for everybody up. He wants everybody up. He wants the full press.
Now Howlett has got the job for the Bombers. Elects to go out in the right direction. Hill is there as well. It tumbles down. Monfries got driven into the ground. Has got a free here. The advantage paid. Ryder, where do I go? Kick it, Paddy. That's where you go because you've got Zaharakis on. Hurley's going to beat Grover. He's going to present to the ball. Ignored by Zaharakis. Now he follows up, but it was too high. Hurley had too much to do. He needed to spear the ball in low.
Great extraction, though, out of defence by the Bombers. All of a sudden, they're the ones on the inside of the inside. They are the ones putting their body closer to the football.
Love it, Murray. One hand, right foot kick around the corner. It's bending back. Goal square. No mark. Watson down low. Clark, they're under enormous pressure. Hinkley just tried to get it out of the zone. It comes back. Watson around the corner to Hill. Hill to Ballantyne. Boy, nervous stuff for the Docker supporters.
Been a great response though from the Bombers. I mean, they needed to respond. They needed to give us something.
One runner down are the Dockers.
Oh, look out.
Hinkley out the back. He's got just one player
Good
forward.
chase.
And that's Johnson. Wonderful chase. Brought to ground. Held it up for Clancy Pearce. Johnson now. This way, that away. Clancy's got to go again. They've got a little kick inside 50. Here's Main. This way, that way. Handball over the top. Zach Clark won't get there. Enormous pressure on the Bomber defence. One mistake and you think it's all over. They get out of trouble, Hibbert.
Great defence, Bombers.
Hardingham's chased before. That's what set up the ability for them to win the ball back.
Oh boy, some luck here. Collier's got it on the wing. He advances it inside the corridor. Did he try and do too much? He did.
He's a good player, the ball.
He had outside runners.
Limited in talent, but he just is so professional in everything he does. He gets the... Oh, no. Not this kick.
It's gone backwards, and that's a signal to the Bombers that they are definitely in protect mode at the moment. They do need a feel of the ball, though, the Dockers. Here's Crichton. Centre half back true. Wide to Griffin. Or McFarlane, I'm sorry. And look at the non-existent running now. Look at the hands on the hips everywhere. Look at Ballantyne. Hill in the middle. Nothing at all. Left. Umpire says play on, and kick around the corner was lazy and tired, wasn't it? Hardingham sees it over the line, so all of a sudden with 9.5 minutes left, a 23-point margin, the Dockers are clinging on. Ryder, Howlett, who has not stopped today. He's been a workhorse for them. Watson to Monfries, to Ryder. In the middle, Welsh. Selected the right option to McVeigh. Here's Cramery at centre half forward. He's got no one for him. So he decides to give it wide to the run of Jetta. Wasn't a good handball. Jetta's been legged. And he'll get a free. They get a let off. And Leroy Jetta out of range. Gee, that ball didn't go back directly. That should have been 50 metres. That should have been 50 metres, umpire.
Regardless if it was an accident or not.
I'd love to see the replay on that. Jetta goes long and deep. The ruckmen get back. Both are there. Off the ground, Collier.
It's the cross.
Slattery. Back into the middle. The danger zone. Here goes Monfries. High ball. Up went Lower. Punched it through with a big fist. Well done, Lower. Let's have a look at the 50s. Fremantle player does not give it back directly. That is 50 metres.
It is.
Even if it's not deliberate, it's 50 metres. And a certain goal because he would have kicked from 2 metres out.
Yeah. Would appear to be a blue.
Boy, oh boy. Fremantle have stopped. Zach Clark the target. McFarlane strong. Ballantyne saying to the bench, I need a change here. Pavlich comes on. Ballantyne comes off. And McFarlane kicks it down the line. High ball on the head of Pavlich. Crowley over the top. Ryder and Fife. Fife did really well. Main kept the hands free. Pavlich to Mazungu. Mazungu out wide. Here's the long striding Hill. He paddles the ball in front. He's on his non-preferred right side. Still a hammering ball to Kepler Bradley, who remains unmanned. And he's marked 20 metres out.
Well, that was the rotation with Ballantyne coming off. Kepler Bradley came on and worked hard forward, got him behind the defence of the Bombers. And Hill was good enough to spot him up.
Kepler Bradley has an opportunity I think, to put it out of reach of the Bombers. He's only 25 metres out. It's a very, very slight angle. There it is for you. Kepler Bradley. Oh boy, what pressure can do to you. He has missed. 7 minutes remain. 23-point margin.
Oh, good grab from Clark. Monfries has had a big last quarter.
60 metres out. Main sets himself. Hooker was the big man in the contest. Just kicked it into a dangerous territory. They've got to go now, the Bombers, you think. They have to run and take risks. They can't play nice, steady footy. Here's Lovett Murray through centre back. Look at the Dockers chasing him. There were 3 of them. Couldn't get him. If they get the handball on, they're here. Intercepted by Pavlich. Brilliantly Crichton on to Mazungu. Mazungu poise. Found Clancy Pearce. Edging ball to Bradley. And he gets
50.
Another opportunity.
That has to be 50.
A little further out, but the same angle.
No 50.
No 50.
Not paying him in this last quarter.
Gee.
So Kepler Bradley a little further out, perhaps a tiny bit more angle about it as well.
Had a nice bit of the head.
Bit of head wobble action on Kepler there. Kepler Bradley. In he comes. 35 metres out. The Fremantle Dockers. This is better. Kepler's got it. And the Dockers hold the Bombers.
Well, it was a hard-fought goal, this one. They had a couple of opportunities. The Bombers, once again, it was just that little tackle in the middle of the ground that resisted Welsh getting the clean hands away. Clancy Pearce, he's lifted himself in the last 5 minutes and delivered it to Kepler Bradley. Maybe the umpire just didn't award the 50 because Kepler added a little bit of salt on it. He did get a little clip in the ear.
Boy, Kepler, wobblehead. Well, a big goal from Kepler Bradley. Hayden Ballantyne looking absolutely, totally exhausted. Chris Bond
doesn't look good, BT.
Him.
Doesn't look good. The Dockers were fiddling around with his hamstring, and he's gone straight to the dugout to sit out what looks like for the rest of the game.
Well, that wouldn't be good for the Dockers. A hamstring injury to Ballantyne. I noticed there's no ice going on it. Chris Bond consoling him either on his good effort or the fact that he's been injured. Here is Heppel. Out of the middle, Mazungu will arrive first here, and he does to Lower. Lower had nice poise to work his way through traffic and make the right decision. Around the corner, good mark taken by Hibberd.
Well, they've already lost Mundy for a month. The last thing they need is to lose a Ballantyne potentially.
Melksham and Fife has been excellent in the air today. His supremacy in that department has been unequalled by any of his opponents. Jake Melksham doing his best there. Griffin just comes off the bench with a fresh set of legs and handballs it back towards the bench. Howlett picks it up and hammers it to Paddy, but that's out of bounds on the full. So you're just sensing now the steam gone out of the Bombers' tank a little after that Bradley goal. Got out to, I think, at one stage a 59-point lead or thereabouts. So they've done well to reduce it now to 29. 35,824 here today. And Fremantle just starting to slow and milk the clock. They've won just one out of their last 5 games, Fremantle. They've lost their last 2, and they play Melbourne next week. Mark Harvey, a relieved man. Off hands, De Boer. Fife, who has had a heap of possessions here today. Jetta through some traffic. This guy's done well since coming on as a sub, Hinkley, replacing Mundy, the injured Mundy. Gee, that's a great kick. Bradley says, I'm free, I can run. Handball wasn't great. Hill runs onto his left. I think the Bombers forgot he was a left footer then. Mazungu marks, he can go all the way. How good's this? He kicks the goal. The Dockers supporters start to celebrate.
You spot on, BT. It was as if the closest Bombers to Stephen Hill found out he was a left footer just then. We'll just have a look at that was a nice little kick in there from Hinkley, and then this chipped kick goes, or the handball from Kepler goes to Hill. Now have a look at the Essendon players, not knowing he's going to go left. Now he could have gone right just as well and made a fool of them as well, but it was a smart piece of work there, and good finish by Mazungu.
Well, the two Bomber teammates coaching their respective sides. Mark Harvey there. James Hird standing not more than 10 metres away from Mark Harvey. And it's going to be a win to the defender this time in Harvey. Pavlich with a big clearance. Punch away by Emery, knocked down Hill. Ball out wide to Collier. Spearing kick and out of bounds on the full.
2 and 3 minutes in the same, exactly the same spot. But James Hird will just go home and ask himself why. Why wasn't there any semblance of this work rate in the first 2.5 quarters? Because with that, they could have gone home with 4 points.
Yep, they certainly almost coincided their comeback with the sun going down.
Yep.
The shade arriving almost as mentally they were beaten with the, it wasn't a really hot day, but it was warm.
It was hot comparative to what they've been dealing with.
Yes. Been a very cold last couple of weeks in Melbourne, so from that point of view, but James Hird composed as ever.
But it is part and parcel of the national competition. I mean, the sides that reside here in Western Australia, they've got to deal with the reverse. And Melbourne sides just got to get used to travel as most do if they're going to be successful.
Jetta has a snap for goal. He's not stopped trying today, Leroy Jetta. He's kicked the most goals this year of any Essendon player, I think, from memory. Leroy Jetta. Perhaps that's not right. No, it's not. Zaharakis has 19 goals to date, and I think Cremery has about 20 odd as well. So we'll have another ball up here. 63 plays 98. 35-point Fremantle lead. And the Fremantle Dockers are looking for their 6th win of the year. As I mentioned, they play Melbourne, Brisbane, Gold Coast, and then the bye over the next 3 weeks. For the Bombers, they've got North, Hawthorn, and Geelong. Doesn't get any easier for them. North, Hawthorn, and Geelong for Essendon.
Especially next week against the Kangaroos, who have found some form over the last month.
Well, they have, Jono. The Kangaroos have won their last 2, beating Adelaide and Gold Coast and going down to Sydney by just 1 point and Brisbane by 14 points. So they have.
Plus, they're starting to get their full list back. Everybody has to deal with 1 or 2 injuries, but they have got the majority of their top 22 back.
Hardingham goes long and deep. No one there for the Bombers.
And a lot of it could swing on whether or not Dustin Fletcher has got a corky or a hamstring.
Yep. And of course, all of the teams completing their byes this weekend. Everyone has had at least 1 bye. Some have had 2, like Gold Coast. So every team completing the bye. Port Adelaide were the last team to have the bye this weekend. Here's Lovett Murray to Myers, who's a left footer. Goes inboard looking for Ryder. And Ibbotson over the top, who's been very, very impressive today. Down the line to Bradley. There is Dustin Fletcher for the Bombers. And 1:20 left. Shutters down for the Dockers. They are spent. They've been able to weather the storm in the last quarter from the Bombers, but one man down for most of the game. Really caught up with them in the end, but they've impressively been able to hang on. Hooker. Under a minute. Hibbard. Long ball to Hill. Takes the mark. A number of Bombers free in the middle, but he couldn't find any of them. Johnson, who's played up forward today.
And played well, BT.
He has been clearly out of touch, and a new role for him today. And he's, as you say, Jono, played well.
Well, once again, Nick Lowe, it's just got to be better than that. It was a slack, lazy kick. And Pavlich is there, needs to hit him on the chest.
Ibbotson flies for the mark. Cramery, who hasn't been able to worry the Dockers' defence when he's been forward today in the air. Monfries goes to a 2-on-1 Ryder, Grover and McFarlane situation. And they really did that well, the Fremantle defenders. And siren sounds. The Fremantle Dockers have had a big win here. And I wonder who Glenn Jakovich is going to go out and bear hug. That is what he does best, Jacko, but it is the Fremantle Dockers winning here today. Their 6th win of the year. They maintain their position in the 8, and Glenn Jakovich is down there with Nate, the 9th.
Thanks very much, BT. I've got one of the informed Dockers this season, Nat 5, 25 possessions, 11 contested, 4 tackles, 1 goal, mate. BT asked me upstairs, how tall are you?
I'm about 190.
In the record it says 186, I'm 192. Hang on, let me stand next to you. Good win, mate. What happened in that last quarter? 5 consecutive goals by Essendon, similar to last week against Hawthorn, but you found a way to bounce back.
Yeah, I think we just sort of fell asleep a little bit. To their credit, they played some exciting footy, and that's why they got 5 or 6 goals, but we bounced back and got the win.
Much was talked about Matthew Pavlich this week during the press. A lot of criticism, but yeah, other players like Johnson, Ballantyne, Mayne, they really stood up today for you guys.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's been a bit of criticism on Pav. I don't think that's fair. He's a great player, and he had a great game today, and the other blokes stepped up when we needed them.
What was mentioned at 3/4 time by Mark Harvey, knowing that you had a comfortable lead, I think it was 47 points, and then Essendon started to get on a run. What did you do differently out there?
We knew we fell away in the last quarter last game, but we knew that they'd come out real hard, so we just tried to stem the flow as much as we could and then bounce back with a few goals late in that quarter.
Mate, BT just wants to see us on stage. Who's taller, me or you? Who do you reckon?
I reckon you got me, Joe.
Well done, mate. Good boy.
Thanks,
Well, Nate the Knife 5 getting it done, and he does look like he's about 6'2" or 3" in the old scale down there to me. Mark Harvey's down there with Glenn Jakovich.
Thanks very much. I do have Mark anxious moments in that last quarter.
Yeah, well, they got 3 or 4 goals early in that quarter and probably been working on trying to stop momentum. So from that point of view, we had a short period where it wasn't that good. But having said that, for the rest of the game, their pressure and their tackling was fantastic.
You had a complete dominance through the 3rd quarter. Did you sense something at 3/4 time? Did they looked a little bit fatigued? Did you sense anything, or was it business as usual?
Well, we obviously lost Monday early and we had to play the sub. So, and you know, they were coming off a 9-day break. So, look, to our boys' credit, they sustained a lot of things that we asked them, and it was a tough game.
A lot of injuries, obviously, with David Mundy, but Hayden Ballantyne looks like he might have aggravated a hamstring. What's the update there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You wouldn't know with him. Yeah, it might appear to be his hamstring, but it might be somewhere else.
Well done. Enjoy the win, mate. Well done.
Mark Harvey having just a light-hearted crack at Hayden Ballantyne there as the winning coach, and of course his former teammate James Hird, and just trying to get his mob going. They've now lost 3 in a row to Richmond, Melbourne and Fremantle. They play North next week, then Hawthorn and Geelong, and supporters here absolutely loving the Fremantle Dockers' work today. It was impressive. They led at every break. 32 at quarter time, 40 at half time, 47 at 3/4 time, and they run out 34-point victors, the Dockers, today. 15-8-98 to the Bombers, 9-10-64.